This is my health misinformation detector, and there are some advanced options here that I can just talk about in a second. But the main function is over here. This is like the input box. So this is where the user can input, any sort of like text that may be incorrect or correct from the article, or they can, drag and drop like a PDF file of the article. So for example, I just put some very like extreme scenario, like bananas are not good for health, but they somehow cure cancer, stuff like that. So if I click on analyze for misinformation, essentially with the Gemini API key, it was able to like look over that information, and obviously it highlighted all of it which was incorrect, and it gives in like a claim-based format, like here. So this is part one, which is like this sentence over here, and it says why it's problematic, and it shows like the reliable source, like National Cancer Institute, where it took it from. And the same with this one, obviously like the Apple sentence, it does say like why it's problematic again, and it gives like the reliable source for this one. So again, the American Cancer Society, because both talked about cancer. So that was like the main like claim-based response. And after that, there's also an additional option that I added. So that was called the generate an educational poster. So essentially all it does is it draws from like that misinformation, and it puts like those two claims over here, that same exact thing. And it says, it's checked by WHO, CDC, and the National Institute of Health. And you can download a poster and put it maybe in like community group chat, etc., to educate others about the same thing, about how not everything in the internet is fully right. And here there's like a tool sidebar, which is also like a mini dashboard, and it's more like the settings and features. So you can change the language, for example. So I set it only to English and Spanish for now, but you can change like the language, obviously change for the entire website. I'm gonna switch it back. And also, obviously, I did some analyses beforehand, so that's why this is 10. And the misinformation tracker, it just shows out of those analyses how many of them had misinformation in it. There's an accuracy rate that changes accordingly, and this is like an analysis history. So so that's like for every input, it gets logged on here. So if I pull from like another input, and if I click on view details, for example, it's going to show over here like the select analysis, what the length was, when it was performed, and the analysis depth. So yeah, and you can clear it as well. And here's like the latest health news bar, which I guess I can frequently update. And this is more of, it's not fully functional, the feedback and suggestions. I need to like link it to potential email, but this is just a potential new feature that I was planning to add. And the real-time fact check search. So I guess if you weren't, or if you didn't have a full-fledged article or PDF that you wanted to input into like this main tool, you can also just put like a normal phrase that you heard, like drinking bleach cures cancer, for example. And if you click on search trusted sources, it's just going to give you a short explanation instead of, if you don't have time for like long one. So that was just this feature over here. And then the last one, as I said, advanced options. So this one I'm still working on, but it does work. So if you click on like the analysis depth, it's just standard, detailed, comprehensive. So based on what you choose, it just gives a more detailed explanation in like the claim area. And this is like the confidence threshold. So like the less it is, the more broader Gemini is when generating the response, and obviously like the more it's more specific. And these are just some things that's tweaking on like the source links, summary, saved analysis history. But yeah, that's just like an overall summary of my app.
Yeah, I think the project is really amazing, and there are a lot of features and really good information that your project is providing. So, where do you get the idea for this project? Were there any particular instance where you felt like you were being fed misinformation by someone?
Well, I guess it was not exactly me, but especially like elderly people, like my grandparents in my family. Obviously, they now look at their phones a lot, but they may not be able to easily as tell. It's obviously meant for average, like ordinary people as well. My tool, so they were not able to easily tell, if this is right or if this is wrong, especially if it can impact their health. So, and obviously, like not many people around the world would have a doctor right beside them to like help them out on this information. So just having this tool that can verify it from again, like those reputable organizations, it would be helpful for like anybody to check. And that's why I just thought of creating this tool.
That's great. I think you were really thoughtful about creating this project. And so, how accurate do you think your project is, Akash?
Sorry.
How accurate do you think your project is?
Oh, like the response, like how accurate it is.
Yeah.
Um, I would say it does work 98% of the time, but obviously there may be some bugs, but as I showed before, like it was able to correctly determine, like the input and why it was problematic. I guess like to give it more detailed training, like the AI itself. But yeah, I would say it's pretty accurate for.
I think it looks really well, and the details are really good, and actually the interface is also pretty well. So it looks good. Who were your
Okay.
teammates, Akash?
I think it was Ishita and Anjali for my teams.
So what was your experience with them? Did you enjoy working with them?
Yeah, they were able to provide like very insightful ideas. So yeah, it was a good experience.
So what was your role in this project, Akash?
So mainly, I guess I was I guess we all like built it from our own angles, like various features. But my main role was, I guess, like the poster and also to help with like most of the stuff regarding the input, and as well as like the PDF, like how, and also like training the AI. So like Gemini, we use like the Gemini API key, specifically it was version 1.5. So like the LLM itself. So my main job was like, training the AI and as well as making it as accurate as possible, like the prompt that we give. And I was like the poster. So yeah. And I also built some like the tool sidebar. So yeah.
So that sidebar is really good. Actually, I've never seen in this cohort. This is the first time I'm seeing a sidebar with extra settings. So this is really cool, and it's great. So, what are your future plans with this project?
Yeah, so I would say that in the future, obviously, I want to expand it, probably give this tool to not only people just in my community, but potentially maybe in my state, et cetera, and just bring more awareness to it because I feel like it's an important problem to solve, an issue to solve. And also probably adding more features on the way. Like I had an idea of adding like a new URL area where the users can just put the URL of an article, especially if they don't have like a download option or if they don't want to like copy and paste the entire thing. And then Gemini can like go to that website, it can read from the article and like do the same process again. So yeah, I had some ideas for features like that, and obviously like the feedback and suggestions. But for outreach, my main idea for outreach was just to bring it to more people around my community and my state. So
Okay, great. So it works really fine. It looks good, and it has a lot of features also. So Akash, is it that you were always interested in healthcare, or it was just for this project?
No, I was already like interested in healthcare a lot because I faced, like some of my family had also faced issues, so that brought me into healthcare as well. And I've written some research before about AI in healthcare. So really like healthcare and like AI were my interests from some time ago, and I just want to like create a project that was in that field. So
Okay, that's great. So there's this research healthcare program that BetterMind Labs offer. You can check it out if you want. That would be great for your future as well, I think.
okay.
Okay. So, Akash, there are a lot of times when we fall sick, and there are numbers of people who provide different advices. So, how do you think we should act with misinformation like that? Because people may provide misinformation at that time, and it can be it might not be very well for us. It can hurt us really bad. So, how do you think we should be prepared for such things, or how do you think we should classify those misinformations?
I would say potentially they could use tools like mine. Like obviously it is a pretty big problem, so just calling on for more tools, but also if they don't have access, this is just for if they don't have access to a doctor, obviously, a doctor would probably be the best person to go. But just in case, people around the world, they don't always have a doctor again. So just by using these tools that are reputable and also fact checking by themselves through reputable organizations such as the WHO, yeah, so that would probably like solve their problems and
Okay,
allow them to get
great,
more factual.
great. So, do you think you will be confident in participating some hackathons or some other competitions in future, or are you planning to participate in some?
Yeah, definitely. Like I was planning to participate in some hackathons like this year and obviously like throughout college as well. So,
Okay, great. So, are you planning to participate with this project or some other project?
um, I think in most of them they revealed the theme like then and there. So I'm not exactly sure if I can, use this project based on what the theme suggests, but definitely like maybe a similar thing in healthcare if there is a theme related, or like another project, but I'll definitely be using AI for all of them. So.
Okay, great. Do you think you will be confident enough to build a project like this or some other project with the knowledge that you have gained with this project, with this
Uh,
program?
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay, great. So I think we can move on to the presentation now. You can share your screen and show me the presentation.
Yeah, sure.
By the way, how do you feel about this project? Do you feel good after completing the program and the
Yeah, I
project?
feel pretty good. Like, I didn't realize, I could build this until like after the program. So, yeah, it feels like it's a pretty rewarding experience.
Great.
So, I can just put this presentation mode. Okay. Can you see this in presentation mode or?
No, no, I can't see it in presentation mode.
Maybe I need to share like my entire window.
Okay.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, yeah, I can.
Okay. So, um, basically, yeah, this is my tools presentation. And so the main problem, like I mentioned before, is misinformation is everywhere across the internet, especially now in the digital age. Everybody from toddlers to elderly people are using the internet, and they may read a variety of stuff on the internet that may not always be what they seem, and they may falsely believe it. So having a tool, it's pretty much in need having a tool similar to what I built or exactly like the thing that I built because it can verify that information and cross-check them with more reputable sources, which may not always be available for everybody around the world. So that's essentially why I created my application. And so, just to give a brief description about my solution, I just call it the Health Misinformation Detector, and it identifies misleading claims. And as well as it's a multilingual app. So, since it's using the Gemini LLM, the API that I drew from it, essentially it can read from articles all over the or through many languages. So, essentially, like anybody around the world can use this application and it just uses that AI and it draws from like those reputable databases so that it can cross-check the misinformation, or it can also just say it's entirely correct. You don't have to worry about the article. And so just some key features like it's shown in the project, it has an article text input. So you can just give a brief text input, or you can just attach a PDF of an article like in the file upload. And it utilizes Google's Gemini AI to detect the health misinformation. And it has that claim by claim breakdown, essentially like dividing the misinformation to parts and explaining why each part is, incorrect and how you can go from there on and why or what is actually correct and why this is incorrect. And yeah, these are like just the images of each of the things. And then like the tool sidebar, obviously it's still under construction, especially like the email area. But for now, the users can change the language. they can see the latest news, they can accomplish real-time fact checking, etc. So it's just like a mini dashboard. And the advanced options, they can change like the analysis depth on how well the AI should respond to the prompt. They can use like source link, they can generate summaries, and obviously they can check the box on whether it needs to be saved to the history or not. And that brings me to history, so they can see the past prompts and learn info about them. Or if you want to go back to that article they may have checked earlier on and just check again what may be incorrect in the article. So that's what the history does. And yeah, these are just the images of the tool sidebar, advanced options, and the history. So yeah, and then the highlighted text display, which was that display that you saw earlier before we went to that claim by claim breakdown. It obviously had like the green for verified accurate information and then the red for the misinformation, and it enhances the readability and essentially just makes it easier to see, just having that entire text just being displayed again, just to see like overall how many things were wrong and where they were wrong before going through that claim by claim breakdown. And then the poster generation tool, so they can generate like a custom educational poster based on those claims that were incorrect. And it includes like the claim, the reason it's harmful, and also the reliable source that verifies that misinformation. And it's an appealing design, and you can download it in PNG format, so you can share it to multiple group chats or in your community. You can print it out, etc. And then the technical stack of my application. So I use Streamlit for deployment and interactive web app deployment. And I use the Google Gemini 1.5 Flash API. So I think that was like the readily available one that was there. And obviously that's like the main backbone of my entire app. And then the pillow, so that was to generate like the customized poster images using the information that was drawn from the misinformation. And then the PyPDF was the library I used to upload like the PDF documents and read from the PDF documents. And then text parsing, that was so that, out of the entire input, what the user may input into the app, you'll read through each, sentence line by line, and then it will decide, which is misinformation, which isn't. And then the benefits of the application obviously provides instant feedback on how credible the source is, as well as like the accuracy of what you're reading. And I guess the main thing would be, if it is misinformation, then it can potentially like stop it or prevent you from doing something that may negatively impact your entire health just by following something that's online. And it'll show you why it is wrong. And also you can like share that poster that you made with like friends, family, or community so that other people can be educated about things like this as well. And yeah, future changes and expansion. So some of my plans was finding a way to link real articles from reputable source organizations. So I guess that was also one, along with that option for the user to enter just the URL and so that Gemini can go to that website and draw from it. And then potentially include health articles with the contact of healthcare professionals, which I hope to be in contact with in the future. And also obviously like bring this attention to a much larger audience than not just my family, but also my friends, my entire community, my state, potentially like the entire country. So yeah, and yeah, that was like the website that I had shown. And yeah, thank you. That was my presentation.
So the presentation was really good. I really enjoyed the presentation and it was pretty detailed. Okay, so what was your experience with the mentor? Did you enjoy working